Daniel on the bottom, Jody, Keith up top. Is it Cauldron versus Daniel? Looks like Daniel did mulligan down to 6 cards. Both of these players, really fun, really big personalities. Jody from New Orleans, always wearing the Saints gear, representing a really cool place. And then, is that a crab hat from Daniel? What is that?
It's a fashion show we're winning in, Corey.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
Game. Come on.
I gotta set the ground rules here. So, all right. Seam Rip on the Mako here for the turn 1. See what Jody has as a follow-up here. Starting town into deal with 1 Mako. Here's some more. And let me tell you, when you can go Mako into double Mako into a Tursa, I can't count that high, Jim.
That's some beats, yeah. And that's the power of 1-drops in your deck, where if you just draw a lot of them, you can kind of have this, all of a sudden, I'm the mono red aggro deck, I'm doing this really, really fast draw, which is a great thing to have access to. One of the many facets of this deck.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so just another land and a pass here from Daniel. Has the ability to have a bunch of counter spells available as well as consult, something like that.
Yeah, and the 1-drops they're great in any spot like this, but they're especially good against control decks, where it's so important to get under their counter spells and put it in the spot where if you're trying to answer things 1 for 1, you still have something left over, and it kind of keeps chipping in and doing the work.
Totally agree. Let's see what Jody's big follow-up is here. Now, what I'd be kind of thinking is whatever I play is probably going to get countered, so what is my kind of medium play? And hey, fear of missing out, kind of the medium play. Tursa would be the thing you really want to resolve here.
Yeah, Daniel can, by countering the things that draw and discard, at least keep these Makos down to size.
Yep, absolutely. Big things from Daniel here. We're going to see players start to slow down a bit here as, is that a main deck annul?
2 main deck annuls.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel
I love that. Love that. Daniel knows what he wanted to beat.
I like this a lot in this deck, too, because mana-efficient counterspells are backbreaking. 1 big annul on a key turn where you tap down super low can be that bridge you need to get you into the mid-game and get your cards going.
All right, and just comes on in here for 2. See if Daniel wants to do anything else. Gets that surveil in and doing some consulting.
I think this is the sign of weakness from Daniel. Consult's a card you really want to kick.
Yes.
I feel like it effectively costs 4 with a 2-mana buyout if you're desperate.
Definitely.
But with Jody on the board here, Daniel's saying, I got to figure things out and get out of this and kind of do my thing.
Usually trying to find land 4, right? That's kind of most of the time what is all about, because missing land drops here is really brutal. The Is It Cauldron deck is very good at putting you under a very weird spot. But when you have so much mana, you can deal with something with like a Day of Judgment and then have a counterspell left over. That's how you really get going. But Daniel with only 3 cards here still needs definitely something else to get going here. That mulligan not helping.
Yeah, the opportunity cost here of sort of cycling your consult is even more so when you've mulliganed. You're down that extra card. You really want your consult to go up on cards. You don't want to cast Ponder. You want to cast Inspiration.
There we go. You and your old cards, Jim. I love it.
I used to play Inspiration in Standard. In Arcbound Ravager Affinity Standard.
Sure you did, Grandpa. Let's get you back to bed, okay?
Yeah.
Vivi comes to play here. It is a solid must-answer threat, but if I'm Daniel, this looks really nice to just either counter like this or maybe untap Day of Judgment and go from there, but Day of Judgment would run the foul of leaving Vivi in the yard. Yeah,
so big play here. No More Lies, of course, countering Vivi is great, but more importantly, getting it into exile. So a lot of the strength of this Cauldron deck is that you cast a Vivi, it's kind of a must-kill creature.
Yep.
But then it ends up right where you want it in the graveyard for Cauldron.
Exactly. Damned if you do, damned if you don't in some scenarios. That's why Torch and, like we see, No More Lies ends up being awesome. Cycle drew all 4 Makos. Gotta love that.
Is Jody playing 8 Makos? What's going on here?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a lot of Makos. It's everywhere.
Comes on in for 4 damage. That's some pressure going.
That's a big pickup, too, because if Jody had cast, Steam Core Scholar or Tursa that got countered, it'd be a kind of a sad attack for 2 again. So it's
Yeah.
uncounterable way to kind of just put some counters on. And really, doubling the clock here against a control deck is so important. Just get that pressure in and then hold back your better spells and play at your pace, not theirs.
Daniel did have the ability to animate that Restless Anchorage as well and just get it in there. I mean, of course, that runs afoul to a few things, but not much. Really not much. The worst thing would be cycle another Mako, and that's not possible.
I mean, a Braid, Floodmaw, Torch Tower. Not Torch, I guess.
Yeah, not Torch.
That still sounds super risky
Yeah.
to me. Giving yourself a chance to get Stone Rain when you're playing Blue Light Control is...
Yeah. I was just going to say, how many Braids do we play? I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
2. I remember.
Even into the Floodmaw, just like that boomerang your land will have some aggro pressure in play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good enough for sure.
If you got the Soul Read, I mean... It would have been awesome. It's definitely a decent chance. Jody has no way to actually deal with it, but...
Jody did go with the pen trick, picked up the pen to, take the damage, but, we've seen that before. Some famous moments. All right. Jody did also scoop last round. Just didn't play scoop to a friend, I heard out there, so was trying to get a friend in and try to get in as well, which is really nice. That looks like Ultima. The turn's over, Jim. Not allowed to do anything else.
Yeah, I'm used to the long reminder text on the regular version.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not enough words for Ultima. I guess it is. Destroy creatures, end the turn.
Yeah, what kind of version is that? It looks pretty cool.
Something. That is not my area of expertise. So.
No, me neither. Me neither. All right, Jody's turn. Let's see what we have here for a follow-up.
This is a big turn.
This is a huge turn.
This is like I wrath you, I tap totally out, kind of have free reign for 1 turn and kind of get back on the board. Tursa's not too bad.
Tursa's not too bad at all. We have 6 cards in the yard, so being able to get really close to that attack draw card, kind of.
All right, so no land for Daniel.
So all gas left in the tank. And just a pass.
Going to see a lot of that from Daniels. It's not a full-on draw code deck. A couple planeswalkers, a couple sweepers and stuff, a couple stock ups, but for the most part, the classic control. It's your turn.
Yeah,
you can go.
And I do like this version of blue-white, the draw-go version, much more than the tap-out. Just being able to utilize 4 Fountain Port ends up being so great. I mean, Fountain Port is one of, if not the best land in the format, and there's just not many decks that can play it. Mono-white token mid-range style decks end up just not being good enough against Cauldron decks, so they're not really playable. So this is kind of the only Fountain Port deck, and it really is an incredible land.
It is very good.
FOMO on the stack here. Maybe has resolved already and looking to see what Jody is going to discard. We have that Winter Night Stories in the yard. Discarding a Scholar. Wow, that's a sign of strength. I mean, you have to discard something, but dang, that's one of the better cards here. Looks like Jody has 3 or 4 cards there in hand.
That's the 7th card in the graveyard for our Tursa ability as well. So, and honestly, with all these Marauding Makos in the graveyard, one of the problems with Tursa is you attack and hit a card you can't cast, but not going to attack. It's going to flash back the Winter Night Stories. So, valuing the cards, kind of just jamming spells here into Daniel's, supposed all-spell hand.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Not even trying to get that damage in there.
Looks like discarded another Stories and a Mountain.
Okay.
Cards are flowing.
And just passing it back. And more cards are flowing here. Looks like a Coil and Catch.
A lot of good instant speed card draw on Standard right now.
Very, very good instant speed card draws.
Between Coil and Catch and Consult the Star Charts, it's quite the 1-2 punch.
Yeah. Consult the Star Charts, definitely better, but the fact that you get a dragon with it, easily could make River Region a little bit stronger.
Everything's better with the dragon.
You know it. You know it. Shuffling that dragon back in. And let's see what Daniel has. Now Daniel has a good amount of cards. If he can do something like, Day of Judgment away these creatures, having a null open or something, that classic, get rid of all the creatures on the battlefield, and then have, that answer for the next threat. That's what it's all about. And boom, it is the Day of Judgment. Daniel running a full 4 of this card. Not very common, I will say.
Yeah, and discarded Seam Rip to the coil and catch almost screams Day of Judgment.
Yes.
If it's not the removal spell for the FOMO, it's got to be killing everything.
Exactly. So Day of Judgment is down. Let's see what the follow-up is here from Jody. And I will say these Azorius control decks, game one, they're favored in this matchup, I think. Very much. Like you just don't have the focused amount of cards. You have Torch the Towers in. You have Abrades in. All these dead kind of removal cards, and that's what Azorius control takes advantage of. Post-board, when Jody is able to bring in Draconautics, negate Spell Pierces, it really flips. Like, I mean, it is like 60-40 in favor of Daniel to then 65-35 in favor of Jody, something like that.
Yeah, it's a classic blue-white squeeze, where you're playing control deck, you're not playing any creatures, and your opponent's probably got some kill spells in their deck. So if you can blank those, game one looks nice. But you're right. Duress, negate, the classic sideboard cards that come in against these control decks where removal goes out, good interaction goes in, and those change a lot.
Here's the Warped Riddlers. I think maybe the one thing about my list that was probably not great is only playing the 2 in the main and playing the 3rd in the board. It's looked just so good. It probably should just be 3, maybe a 4th in the board. I still think 4 was a little excessive, though.
It's a pretty powerful Magic card.
So good. I mean, if you're at 2 and you have a Riddler in play and your opponent has the Razorhead in play, you just lose the game, as we saw earlier. So gotta be careful of that one.
If I had a nickel every time that happened, I'd have 5 cents.
Oh, back to Daniel here. See what we got as a follow-up. And while that was a solid play, drawing some cards, essentially 3 mana to what Brain Surge, I believe, is the modern staple there, of drawing 4 cards, discarding 1. That's all fine and good, but no pressure is on the battlefield here. And that means Daniel has a turn of reprieve where he can stock up and maybe have a counterspell available. Now the all-powerful Fountain Port joins the party as well.
Yep, this is looking pretty good for Daniel here in game 1. 9 life is respectable. It's a little low, but not too shabby.
Winter Night Stories coming on in. One thing we've really missed in this game, well, some pressure for sure, but profs. We've drawn so many cards. It's just none of those cards we've been drawing have, equated into any form of pressure.
Yep, for sure.
And we had the one Vivi that's now in exile, but outside of that, no Cauldron, no Vivi in the yard. So just doing a very fair, is it mid-range impression here so far.
At this point, Jody's hand's got to be pretty good. I mean, we've seen a number of card draw spells. This card's FOMO.
Okay, and there is profs, but I bet there won't be a Mako to follow this up, and there is the prime target for it. A Null coming down. The classic draw, land, go from Daniel. I'm sure he has said that plenty times this weekend.
Yeah, and also a big pickup.
Yeah.
Daniel properly predicted that the metagame would be largely as a Cauldron.
Yep.
And the card is great there. It has applications in other matchups too.
Yeah.
But just as cheap and efficient as it gets.
Yeah, and I mean, especially in these later stages of the round, I bet today Daniel's played a lot of Izzet, and it's just been unreal. I bet if he could, play extra Nulls just for day 2, he would stock it up to 4, Yep. I'm sure he's played a lot of Mirror, or a lot of Izzet. Quantum Riddler number 2, warped on the stack. Gonna consult the star charts first. Look at the top 8, pick 2 of them. No big deal.
Just casual top 8 cards.
Just a new and improved dig through time.
Really giving those cards a good shuffle going to the bottom of the library. They are random.
Yep. I hate having to ask, do you want to cut these cards? That's maybe my least favorite thing in competitive Magic.
So don't ask.
Yeah.
I never ask.
That's going to be the one time you're like, wow, Corey is cheating here, rearranging his bottom cards.
Listen, if my opponent wants to stack just the bottom cards when they do that or whatever, go ahead. I don't care.
I'm calling a judge on you if we play and you don't ask.
I will refuse to do it.
Okay. Well, I can't argue then.
I'm going to go like this, I'm going to put it on the bottom, all right?
So Cauldron comes into play, also enters the graveyard. It looks like 2 cards in hand, so we're getting close to the Quantum Riddler extra draws here. Maybe if we have a FOMO, something along those lines, you can get that extra draw. All right, profs. Okay, never mind. We still have 3 cards in hand. Jody was just fast shuffling.
Pieces are starting to come together.
Yeah, they really are. And now the pressure is on. See how many cards Daniel has left. And that's the one thing is, yeah, sure, Jody's not doing anything, not putting any pressure to the board. Cauldron and Prof, they're both scary, but that's all they are. They're scary. You know, they're all bark, no bite right now. If we get some creatures going, it will be a different story. But as it stands now, we are not there. And, man, Daniel, another Consult the Star Charts, going up to like 7 cards here. Wow.
Yeah, and that's a lot of looks, you
Yes.
know? So now the top 16 cards have been picked through for the best 4.
Just pick up your deck, Daniel. Pick the cards you want.
Right.
Okay.
Right. You can see the pace of Daniel's play is picking up. We're getting into like light speed. All right, I'm winning this game. Let's get this thing over with and not go to time.
I think he has just been playing that fast too, just understanding that blue-white, you have to play fast. This is the type of deck where if you get in the draw bracket, you know what you're playing against? More blue-white control, and that is just how you have a miserable tournament. Sometimes if you're about to draw in the early stages, just like, no, please, I concede. Like, I do not want to have that kind of tournament.
Yeah, and you're right.
Yeah.
Good blue-white control players, they're in hurry-up offense from turn 1 of game 1.
Yeah.
You know, we'll just go. Let's play. Let's not waste any time.
All right, here is a really big turn, I feel. Let's see what we're doing. Is this a Quantum Riddler, maybe? Not quite. I saw some Into the Flood Maws in Jody's hand, which not great at this particular moment for sure. And here is Quantum Riddler from Warp. Cryptic Command on the stack, counter, draw, essentially.
Now who's the boomer?
Okay. Come on, that's not too old of a card.
You say that once again.
I do not want to know when that was printed.
Yeah,
I mean, I played it at my first Pro Tour in 08, so I'm guessing it's around then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
All right.
Yeah. 3 steps ahead for the spree cost here in 2025.
Gotta love it. Counter, draw 2, discard 1. Whenever you get to that spot where there's a clear battlefield and you're doing that, it feels like you're at this position where, it's going to be hard to lose. Here comes a fishy friend.
What's that fish's name?
Fish.
Just fish?
It's just fish.
Fish
yeah.
the fish?
Fish the fish.
It's a little bland, but sure.
Well,
I'll take it.
Oh, it's a 1/1. I mean, that's as bland as it gets. There's nothing flashy about it.
I will say Daniel's playing phenomenal Magic this weekend.
Yeah.
His printer needs to make.
Yeah, I was wondering what's going on with that.
Yep.
Or it's, I don't know.
Or is that some secret layer like alternate art?
Yeah. All right, and then there is an Elspeth.
And one of the cool things here, of course, is how Elspeth interacts with the fountain port. Now it's 2 fish. Got 2 fishy friends.
Oh, my. And wait till we get the spice here of like a Voice of Victory in play, and you get to attack. You get extra warriors here.
Elspeth Stormslayer is an unbelievable Magic card.
It's so good, but it's just been so overshadowed by, first, Monstrous Rage, the mouse package. You could not play this card. And now, honestly, Vivi is still kind of a counter to this card. If something ever happened to Vivi and this explosive Cauldron deck, this is going to be like instead of a 1 or 2 of in your deck, like a 3 or a 4 of.
Yeah, and a pillar of the format. I think this card really is unbelievably phenomenal.
Same with Yuna when Cauldron maybe has not played as much. I think Yuna will come back quite a bit.
Yep.
Winter Night Stories coming down. Let's draw some more cards. Jody's drawn a lot. I love that we have someone keeping track of how many cards are drawn over there.
Yep.
That's nice.
Does Jody get a deck? Jody's drawn like 37 cards this game.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
But now's the important part for Daniel, where with Elspeth down, Elspeth kills pretty quickly.
Yep.
With a fountain port end step, make 2 fish, untap, you can use the plus ability and attack for 10, or you can just wait 1 more turn, 2 more tokens, 2 more fish.
All right, there is Vivi number 2 coming on in.
The big thing here is that with 3 mana up, Jody can pay for No More Lies. So that plan of trying to No More Lies it and keep it out of the graveyard is a little tougher.
Yep. Now, if we have another 3 steps ahead, something like that, then we're in business. But I mean, Daniel's draw has just been incredible. He hasn't missed a beat. He's been mana efficient. Whenever there wasn't anything that had to be dealt with, he drew 2 cards. He's been max blue-white controlling, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and Jody's got to give him the time, though, where Jody has, spent some turns, kind of like set up turns, drawing cards, warping Riddlers, and not really affecting the board. So Daniel's had time to just cast Consult, cast Consult, cast Consult.
Now the Prof trigger on the stack, targeting Vivi. Get Lost also enters the stack. So, I mean, you can eat a creature, then have the ability to generate some mana. And depends on how this was declared. I'm sure Daniel said, like, hey, with your target on this on the stack. But if not, you could animate Soulstone and then put those Prof counters over to it. But, yeah, it looks like that was not how it was declared. So 2 maps will be showing up on Jody's battlefield. No Profs counters. And we'll be heading over to Daniel in full control.
Yeah.
Fish down, card incoming.
Bye, fish.
Bye.
You were a good fish.
Solid Fish was declared, and just a masterclass in blue-white control so far. And hey, what do you know? Running low on cards. Time to stock up.
I don't think Daniel's that low on cards.
Well,
I think he just wants more.
You're flooded on cards. Let's stock up anyways.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be cool if we had more cards?
Oh, someone did say 18 years since Cryptic Command was printed. That does pain me.
I told you.
Yep.
I mean.
All right. I take it back. I am indeed a boomer.
Yeah.
2 more 1/1s coming into play, and the pressure's on. I mean, whenever you have a Planeswalker in play, the pressure is inherently on. Ooh. I think we'd be getting to the stage here pretty soon if I was Jody. If this next turn does not go my way in any way, shape, or form, pack it in so I have time to win 2 more games.
For sure.
Yeah. Because the post-board games get a lot better, and a draw for these players, it's not like, oh, maybe they can sneak in. No, that's not going to happen. We have too many players going down the line. A draw here would place them both into top 16, I imagine.
Yeah, there will be players who are 12-3 who do not make the cut to true to tiebreakers. So
Exactly, yeah.
11-3-1, not good enough.
Is Vivi good enough? If not, game 2, we're probably heading on to. But then again, at some point, Daniel has just started getting a lot of lands, doesn't have a lot of gas in the tank. All it takes is 1 turn for, a Cauldron, a Vivi to slip through the cracks, and we're cooking. And speaking of, here's Vivi. Trigger on the stack. Cauldron coming into play with a Vivi in the yard, and a Winter Night Stories, and a Riddler. The pieces are there. It's got to happen now, though.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if Daniel wasn't all rolled up here. Stock up, just cast, double consult cast, so many cards in hand, so much mana available. And here it comes. 3 steps ahead, spree cost.
Daniel has maybe been 4 steps ahead this game so far. No counter spells in the main here from Jody's list. So no real fighting you can do with that. That being said, we're not done with the Vivi nonsense, as there is a Vivi in the yard. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, the Cauldron got countered, not the Vivi. But we're still not done with Vivi because Vivi's in play.
In play, in the yard.
It's hanging. Vivi's here.
In the next table over.
Yeah, probably. All right. See what the follow-up is. Into the Flood Maw. Get that 1/1 out of here. Okay, Daniel is at 6.
Yeah.
We have 4 mana available. What's that last card in hand from Jody?
I mean, it better be good.
Yeah. I mean, technically 2 cards. We do have that Warped Riddler as well. Does have the mana to cast it. Could go to combat. Attack all wherever. Probably face. Post-combat Riddler. That's the surface level play.
I think that Jody's got to win the game this turn.
I think so, too.
So I don't think that just casting a Riddler is good enough. There's the stories in there. You can fire up the stories in the old flashback and take a look that way.
You can fire a map onto Vivi. Either you hit a land and you can play it, or it gets a counter.
Runs afoul of a tap land.
Okay, yep. Here is Cauldron. So this is Daniel down to 5.
Yeah, the window's open.
And, I mean, if we can go Cauldron onto Soulstone Sanctuary, and then all of a sudden we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana to play with. You can cast Winter Night. You can cast Riddler and Winter Night Stories from the yard. I mean, there's some world, and then you could sack the maps. Okay.
Story time.
Looks like it's story time. This is the turn, but, I mean, Jody is coming out swinging.
Yeah, I mean, every story is basically mana neutral, right? Where as long as you use the profs, go at your second main phase, 3 mana to cast it, 3 cards drawn, 3 counters. The question is, it looks like Jody is trying to win, I guess, with a combination of pings and a Soulstone Sanctuary attack.
Yeah, so maybe needs to find one more into the Floodmaw, where, as if you find a way to not tap that Soulstone, maybe you could have got in, but we'll see. So discards land, discards profs. I think Jody's trying to protect the Soul Cauldron at all costs from going for that VV line, but I think, more than likely we're going to see Jody having to go for it. There's Torch the Tower.
All right.
Ping down to 3, and that is it! Jody Keith takes game 1 down, where we all but counted him out.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy, just Daniel had so many cards and so much stuff, but Jody did a really good job of just spending his time setting up,
Yeah.
Blue Light Control doesn't pressure you, they kind of set up and try to do their own thing, and Jody said, well, my thing is better. I'm just going to keep drawing cards, keep setting up, find the correct combination of things, do it all in one turn, and there it is.
Unbelievable. That did not look like a game that Jody could win, but, I mean, Daniel, both decks fired on all cylinders, kind of in air quotes. Jody was just being very mana efficient, did things every single turn. So did Daniel. It's not like Jody popped off, had that turn 3 over the top thing, but just did things, mana efficiency, saved the spells until it was time, and I cannot believe he took that game down. So we're going to head to Daniel's side. We got 1 Biza. We got 1 Devout Decree, 2 Elspeth Smite, 1 Exercise, 2 Negates, 2 Overlord the Mistmores, 3 RIP, Rest in Peace, 3 Voice of Victory. What do you like?
Honestly, it feels like a lot of the stuff's already in the main with those nulls, but, some of them are Rest in Peace. I don't know if I like all 3 of them. 3's a lot.
I mean, if you have 3 of them, you're bringing them in, right?
It does feel, I don't know, I always hate the notion of overboarding, but it is good against the flashback spell as well, which is pretty nice. So, Rest in Peace. And for the most part, not much else super excites me. The nulls are already in the main deck, and the Seam Rips are all good to go. So, for the most part, bring some Rest in Pieces, and I think that, sideboarding here definitely favors Jody.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take the Jody side for this sideboarding as we see him looking at a list that would kind of be me being tagged in here. So going to be bringing in that Quantum Riddler, Spell Pierces, Draconautics Engineers, Disdainful Strokes coming in response here for the Abrades, Torch the Towers. I was taking out into the Floodmaws. I'm going to be curious if he sticks with that. I basically was just kind of conceding the fact that if you have Rest in Peace, that it was just going to be gone. And then I was trimming 1 Cauldron, 1 VV, and just kind of trying to fight through the Rest in Peace instead of trying to actually be able to bounce it. And just saying, hey, if you got 3 of them, now you essentially drew a dead card against me.
See, but if you were sideboarding against me, I'd only bring in 1 or 2. So
oh, God.
That's what I'm saying. So, if you overload on the Rest in Peace
games.
effect, it's pretty easy for this Cauldron deck to be able to kind of say, all right, Graveyard, that'll be a plan C, so we'll go from there.
Yep. Absolutely love it. So, before we get into this next game here between these 2 All-Stars, Jim, walk us through this newsletter a little bit. I know you're a fan. You're subscribed, right?
Yeah, it's super simple. Just you want to know what's going on, you get an email every week. It says, hey, we got sales. We got events coming up. You can play in them. You can watch them. We got new sets coming out like every week or 2. Edge of Eternity, Spider-Man, they're always coming. So you got to stay on top of things. You don't want to be at the water cooler, and your buddy at work's like, have you seen the new Spider-Man cards? And
it's like, yeah, I'm in the newsletter, dude. Of course I have.
Yeah, like, wait, Spider-Man's in Magic? And you're out of it, and now everyone thinks you're a loser. So get on the old newsletter there, starcitygames.com/newsletter. Get signed up and get ready to go.
You heard it here first. You're a loser if you're not on the newsletter, says Jim Davis. Quote of the weekend there. Absolutely love it. So, yeah, newsletter's great. I've been subscribed as well. I mean, even before I was a player, when I was just kind of an aspiring grinder here when it came to this stuff, I was always watching coverage here of the SCG Tour and just basically absorbing any content I could. Still watching coverage, on dial-up internet, asking my mom to get off the phone so I could watch the SCG Tour. Man, you are right. I am old. I'm now realizing it as I start to say these words, Jim.
We all know it.
Okay.
Welcome to the party.
Okay. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. I'm in pain, and Daniel takes one mulligan here. And now, with 20 minutes, where we thought Daniel was going to be taking this on, the pressure was on Jody, but it was going to be doable. The other way, pressure's on Daniel, and it might not be doable.
That is, as a control player myself, one of the worst feelings is playing a really long game one.
Yeah.
Having it just slip away and then looking at the clock and seeing 19 minutes left.
Exactly. Here's where you got to just be like, every single time your opponent tanks for even a little too long, sorry, you need to hurry. Okay, so looking at Jody's hand here, I saw a nice one. Essence Scatter to pick that off is huge, but I saw Cauldron, I saw Vivi, I saw Tursa, I saw Land 3. Jody has the nuts. It's just how much does Daniel let him do here. So Jody's got to be feeling excellent. There's no RIP. It's just time for the Cauldron. Here comes a Mako.
Get lost.
Creature is gone out of the graveyard. 2 maps are coming. And the starting town comes into play for turn number 3. Essence Scatter is a heck of a card in this metagame. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Y'all know what's about to happen now. Shield the eyes of any youngsters watching.
Course floating again.
I'm moving my chair around. If I did see what I think I saw, it's time to cook.
Yeah, and I was going to say for Daniel, great turn to play Rest in Peace if you got one.
How about Stock Up?
Stock Up. I mean, it's a great card.
Yeah.
But it's a setup card, and Jody is all set up.
Yeah. And, I mean, this is kind of how it worked for me, like, this Is It deck against Is It Prowess, for instance. Like, I'd be doing this stuff in Cauldron. My opponent would tap out for Stock Up, and, like, I would kind of giggle and be like, resolve. I'd do a thumbs up to my screen and be like, that resolves, because I know what I'm about to do on the next turn. And as long as Jody has a nice follow-up, this is going to be impressive. So here is Cauldron on Tursa, getting rid of Vivi. We're up to 4 mana, 5 with the starting town. Land drop has already been made. And let's see if we have something like Winter Night Stories or a Riddler ready to go. And here goes Jody.
That's the big one, where we've seen a few times on camera so far where a VV deck has VV under Cauldron, and they're all set up, but they don't got the card draw. They don't got a way to kind of get in and kind of get this ball really, really rolling. So let's see about this is step 1. Now let's see if we can get in and do the card draw. Is that a Riddler? Fancy Riddler?
That's a fancy Riddler. That looks like the sideboard Riddler that just drew a couple cards.
Now, those maps are cool, too, because those maps have the potential to add a plus encounter as well.
Exactly.
And turning them into dark rituals.
Yeah. Maps are just not fair, when you have this stuff, when you have the VV already under it. Like, you're just like, God, if I hit anything but a land, you are in so much trouble here. So let's see. Does this map add 4 mana?
Oh,
it sure
God.
And it puts a Winter Night Story to the yard. Well, I think Jody Keith is probably heading on into that top 8.
Yeah, you can see Daniel chuckle here because that was ridiculous. That was Dark Ritual plus draw card.
Dark Ritual?
The map makes a counter on the thing, so now it makes mana.
Yeah, but it adds 5 mana, and Dark Ritual costs 1 and makes 3. It's so much better than Dark Ritual.
Not a perfect analogy.
It's a perfectly bad one, actually.
Conceptually, 1 mana make a bunch. Listen.
It's actually 2 Dark Rituals. That's what it is.
There's some broken things happening here, all right?
It is 1 mana, double Dark Ritual, Jim, okay? There we go. I fixed it for you.
And draw a card.
And draw. Yeah, man, Dark Ritual is really power crept out of here. So, all right, Winter Night Stories, discarding 2 more cards. That puts counters on the Mako, so that's 3 more mana. We still got this map available, so now we are up to 7, 8 mana again. The map kind of just gets to do whatever. See if we get another Winter Night Stories. You always leave FOMOs on top. That card's too good.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. We're doing it.
You can see, head in hand for Daniel Harris. Had a phenomenal tournament. Has played so well.
Yeah.
but not much you can do here.
That being said, I mean, if we don't fully do it, if we don't get, let's say, a Draconautics in the yard or a Draconautics into play to put a dragon and then give haste, and we untap and cast Ultima, I mean, this is still very much in favor of Daniel. So I will not be calling it yet. There needs to be a follow-up for Jody. I mean, a follow-up could be have a Spell Pierce GG, but...
Don't speak such things into existence.
Hey, that's why you put him in the sideboard.
There's only one Ultima in Daniel's deck, so very heavy on Day of Judgment, only one Ultima.
Day of Judgment would still fall to Spell Pierce.
Yes. If Spell Pierce is here, we can... but...
There's our nice activated. So we have 3 mana plus the Mako plus the land, so still at 7 right now. And with Jody still thinking, that means we're optimizing here. We're not necessarily kind of doing anything else. Okay, so there is the discarded Mako. Depending on how many cards are in hand, that would draw 2. Must be more than 2. Discards that from the Mako. Here comes 5 mana in total. 6 with the starting town.
It's a tough feeling, Like, you played a long tournament, You saw a glance at the camera there from Daniel. 14 rounds of hard-fought Magic.
Yeah.
11-3 at this level is a phenomenal record, And you had a game 1 where it feels like you really got it, and Jody just kind of sneaks it out, and now you're here facing the best possible draw when your hand wasn't perfect. It's tough. It is tough,
and it's pretty cool that 1 card, so that's draw 4. We'll see. Daniel started off round 1 in our feature match area, and the people that start off in the feature match area, you're either the person or you're playing against the person, and he is definitely the person that we got into the feature match area because of his career and stuff like that. And to still be in the feature match area for the last round, that really shows that, okay, you're here for a reason. You're a great, great player. And we'll see. Okay, so with that starting town tapped, the counter spell, being able to be played is not a possibility, so that would mean you have to kind of do it this turn. But one of the 2 Draconautics engineers to give FOMO haste, and we are done here. As that would give haste to the FOMO. The FOMO untaps the Mako. That gets to hit twice, but that doesn't look to be the case. And I think we are just passing the turn here, or we're attacking and we're getting that random Tersa in, which is essentially passing the turn. Get that out of there. Okay. Riddler goes away. Big turn. Is there the Wrath? Is there the Spell Pierce? We're going to find out soon.
Even if there is a Wrath, it has Daniel tapping out, Jody going into his turn again. Good amount of cards in hand. The Riddler's there. Oh, it is the Ultima.
Oh, wow. And no Spell Pierce to find. So, all of a sudden, advantage Daniel.
Daniel says it ain't over yet.
Incredible.
I still see a seat for me in that top 8, and I want to claim it.
Exactly. Okay, we got ourselves a game and a match here. Scholar, draw some cards. Now Jody has to rebuild. Let's see how the hand was after that. Most of the time, you're not gaining a lot of card advantage at the end unless you're really doing a lot of Riddler stuff. So wouldn't be too shocked if Jody just does not have that much gas in the tank. Riddler into the yard there, as it is a creature with flying.
All right.
And profs to make this a 5/5. Very manageable from Daniel. Okay, Jim, we are still playing some Magic.
Got Soulstone Sanctuary over there, hiding in the lands as well. Still got a Riddler on Warp Zone, so plenty of resources for Jody.
Definitely. Now it's just even footing, basically.
Yep.
The non-control player slightly ahead, which is pretty much board parity most of the time.
Yep.
As Daniel's never really ahead until the game's over.
Daniel has to be cognizant here of his clock. 11 minutes left.
And the clock of the Scholar.
Yes. 3-turn clock, that is. Yes, there's a creature land there too, and some more draws. Could easily be a 2-turn clock.
Yep, absolutely. Wow, this has been a nice game.
figuring something out here. See what's going on.
I think Daniel's just thinking. Just debating what to play. You know, whenever the control player is thinking this long, it's usually I just need to jam and tap out, and that is what we're doing. There is Elspeth. That just means Elspeth can just die to the Sanctuary here, or much worse things could happen.
Yeah, and this is tough, you know, having to sacrifice an Elspeth like this just as a removal spell. You know, it makes it harder to win the game fast, which is a thing that Daniel kind of has to do.
Or it could be the classic, I need to, tank a little bit to make my opponent think like, this Elspeth is just going to die, and have the best Elspeth smite in the world here. Okay. That would have been the most backbreaking Elspeth smite ever.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, I don't think you leave Elspeth smite in or bring it in, but whatever.
I agree.
Time to stock up. And reminder, everyone, this is about as true of a win and in as it gets. Both players' tiebreakers are pretty decent. Daniel is a little bit lower, but Daniel was in 8th. Jody was in 6th, so winner of this, very, very likely to be competing into the top 8. 1 Winter Night Stories in the yard, but no Vivi. Looks like the checks that we are doing.
Yeah, a lot of action. You know, Stories in the graveyard. Riddler still hanging out in the warp zone, cards in hand. And again, if you're Daniel, I know I keep saying it, but that clock just keeps on ticking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just going to be really tough to see this match ending in a Daniel win. I could see it ending in a draw, which would be terrible for both players, but...
Yeah, this is a tournament that you really want to make top 8.
That was Coil and Catch main phase, tap out to play around the possibility of a Spell Pierce. And now let's see what Jody can do. This is the big turn where, hey, Profs is going to do some work. You got Quantum Riddlers. That is probably a Winter Night Stories right below the camera there. We can maybe see if the players will keep the cards on the battlefield a little bit. And there's Vivi to the yard. Is there a Cauldron?
Is that Vivi and another Stories?
Vivi and a Scholar. Yep, just the Stories that got cast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I had backwards. My bad.
But it was... now, for whatever reason, my mind was blanking. You can discard a creature, discarded 2 creatures. So on purpose, Jody discarded an extra card. You'll see this very often when you have Riddler in your deck. Or, if you're going for the win here. Otherwise, keeping the other Scholar here looks great. So I would assume Jody has got a Cauldron based on discarding those cards. But we'll see. Tursa, Profs, Disdainful Stroke. And a land is what I pieced together. So even just play something here, play an untapped blue source, put the 6 or 3 counters from the Sanctuary over, say go, hold up Disdainful Stroke, looks decent.
Yeah, a lot of options here.
4 for the Profs, untap land, attack, have Disdainful Stroke open, and we'll see if Daniel goes to tap out for something big. If so, Jody will be saying no to that. Uh-oh, that's 4 mana. And yeah, you counter anything at this point. When you have a Riddler out, you are totally fine just kind of getting that counter spell out. Chart for a No More Lies, is it there? You get a lot of cards to look. But that's not how you want to be using this card, right?
Yeah, this is a desperation chart.
Yeah. Consult the star charts now in quotations. But there it is.
All right, but again, this is like the 4th turn in a row. Daniel's been totally tapped out, and Jody's had free reign.
So we'll see how many cards in hand. This looks like kind of a Riddler turn here. Still a lot of Winter Night Stories in the yard as well for more gas. And, hey, that's the thing about this Cauldron list and kind of the configuration post-board with 3 Riddlers and stuff. You kind of just don't run out. Oh.
Yeah, big pickup. Discarded 2 lands.
Yeah, discarded 2 lands, drew 2 cards. Tursa coming in. Oh, okay. Winter Night Stories.
I think that might be it.
And that's it. Jody Keith is going to be advancing to the top 8 here in Orlando, playing Is It Cauldron, playing the deck of the weekend, and played it masterfully, Jim.
Yeah, we got a shadow of hope there from Daniel. It looked really bad, and Ultima looked like maybe, but just too much advantage game from Jody.
Yeah.
Very well played on both sides.
Really? Yeah, go on.
And that's